I thought it might be cathartic to look at some TripAdvisor reviews. Used to be a jewel in Bradford, now I wouldn't recommend. Sadly, it isn't good since the renovation, which is what everyone says. As a visitor, I can't see where they spent the cash injection. Well, I can. They have more staff than they could possibly need. There are floors in the museum where there are more staff members than visitors. That is not a joke. Very poor exhibits and much less interactive. I'll tell you what, they've tried to make it more interactive, they've made it less interactive. The small things that you can interact with, the novelty dies quickly. I struggle to spend 30 minutes here as a long-time supporter of this museum. I've tried 2 visits in 2025 and I won't be back again. Huge disappointment, few artifacts, dull design. We went here with the kids 15 years ago when it was the Museum of Film and Photography, which, yeah, film and photography are great and worthy of funding in themselves. You don't need to only fund science. So they built an IMAX cinema in. I support the IMAX cinema. I think it's great, but unfortunately it's underused and not many films are made for IMAX, which is quite a shame. So the big problem is the lack of artifacts. Okay, well, they have artifacts. They have an archive with a huge number of artifacts. I've seen it. They just don't show them because showing these things requires planning and it's difficult. It's much more fun to just buy new shit and staple it together. One floor is dedicated to gaming, not anymore, I don't think. And another children's experiments, it wasn't that good. I regretted my £5 prior donation. Yeah, I will never give them money ever again. Absolute rubbish now. When I was a teenager, me and my mates used to be regular visitors here. So I know I'm stopping already, but when I was a teenager, it's very hard to please teenagers. It's hard to find things that they'll do, but this had such interesting things. You could do it. You could go to an area called TV Heaven, and you could sit and just watch stuff. You could watch these interesting animations. They didn't have a massive collection of things. There were old Doctor episodes, these strange random things, and it was interesting. And sometimes they just had, it was just small rooms, you just watch something. Sometimes it was on a schedule. Sometimes you'd go and ask for stuff. It was great. The best bits were the magic carpet, which is this blue screen thing, and the TV cameras you could play with. Yeah, it's always more fun for kids to play with real equipment, real stuff, even if it's old, than the fake kiddie crap that's just nailed together. They always knew that, and you ain't fooling anyone. So, from walking in the door, we were pestered by a lad on reception to make a donation, almost insisting I make a card payment as I told him I had no cash. So, you used to just walk in and go straight upstairs, straight to the cafe, straight to the cinema area, Pitcherville, and now they have really ugly temporary ropes which shepherd you to a newly built reception desk where sometimes in the past, when they first did it, they insisted you had a ticket. And why do you need a ticket to a free museum? It's just some crap to make you feel as if you have to donate. I don't like this. This certainly does not encourage me to donate. My grandkids love museums, but after 20 minutes in here, they were bored, stupid, and wanted to go. Yep, I feel the same way. We had booked to the games museum at 1:45, and we literally walked around the museum in an hour and a half. We had a picnic and we're just waiting nearly an hour. So this whole booking time slots is so stupid. It's an unnecessary complication. Yeah, and even that was a disappointment. The kids weren't tall enough to reach the games to play on them. That's embarrassing. You can have fold-away stools, and that's how you do it. And the staff are there. It's not like there aren't staff around. There are loads of them around, not doing anything. Whatever happened to the amazing stuff we had when we were kids? All the interactive attention-grabbing stuff. It just seems very basic and not very interesting anymore. All that stuff, someone probably had to clean it, and I imagine it's either been stolen by the staff or has gone into a tip. To be quite honest, I would love to know. We won't come again, although we're fairly local. My childhood memories of what was once a wonderful place were all ruined after 20 minutes in here. They have ruined what was once a fabulous place. Boy, he isn't kidding. And this is in 2021. This is actually before the refurbishment, when they'd only just started, closing bits off and ruining it. Not a museum. Poor experience. Sadly, it's not actually a museum. They have over 3.5 million archived items, but decided not to exhibit very many at all. It was boring and irrelevant, totally lost the plot, and no longer a museum of media science or technology. On the lower ground floor, this is like a basement level, there's a camera gallery display, but that's about it. So that's the Kodak gallery, and they have some nice Victorian equipment in there. They have modern Kodak stuff. It's great. That I'm sure they're going to destroy that too soon. But even down there, there's an old-fashioned type of machine where you put a penny in and crank the handle on the side, and it's just a series of photos that becomes a video, and that's an early form of video. Even those are now closed off, and it's just like, what's the damn point? They have one 1980s non-working color TV in the entrance area, but that's about it. And they used to have massive displays of old TVs and genuinely interesting variety as well. Busy, and definitely not what it was. So this is in 2023. This is after the new exhibits were open, so that's why it was busy. That's what I was saying about novelty. It's novel, they're going to come once, they're not going to come again. It's not enduring. Shadow of its former self. Over the years, more and more of the history and artifacts have been disappearing. This is true, I can testify to this. This has been happening in my lifetime. I've seen it, and it's always been a disappointment. But the main entrance, cafe, took 40 minutes to crawl speed along, get 9 packets of crisps and 9 cold drinks. Whoa, that's embarrassing. The staff couldn't have moved slower if they tried. Let me tell you, it's like the museum now exists to service the staff. They are not there to serve you. I don't like this at all. Gone was the gallery about how a TV studio actually works. This is real education. When you actually show things, these machines, how they work, that's real. And you, as a child, watching that, playing that, will benefit so much more than these weird, dumbed down things where it's just lights and colors. That's just a fact. This has been replaced with some hands-on related stuff for kids to twiddle and play with. So what's there now? There's a vaguely interesting thing about standing waves and some rubbish about sawtooth waves, which doesn't even really explain how sounds are synthesized. It's just rubbish. It really is rubbish. It was a shame, as it actually enlightened you on the process and history of television. So talking about the history, they showed you actual mechanical TVs and how they worked. All that knowledge just there on display, great exhibits. There were like exploded models of things, so they actually showed you the parts, they were labeled, really interesting stuff. Complete with a studio and old TV sets demonstrating how the medium had developed over time. There was still an impressive Kodak gallery with its many cameras, etc., etc. My personal favourites were the old TV models of the Wombles. They were great. Jerry Anderson and the Cadbury's Smash robots. A lot of nostalgia there. So for those who don't know, there were these bizarre old television adverts about aliens invading the Earth, and there were these funny puppet robots, and it was about instant mashed potatoes. It was called Mash Get Smash.
On your last trip, did you discover what the Earth people eat? They eat a great many of these. They peel them with their metal knives, boil them for 20 of their minutes. Then they smash them all to bits. They are clearly a most primitive people.
Or mash, get smash.
Terrible product, but the adverts are iconic. They're extremely funny. Even today, they're funny. And they're just fun. Even if you didn't grow up in that time, they're still fun. I certainly didn't. The museum has drifted away from the interactive exhibits that once made it so engaging. Gone are the magic carpet, the newsreader area, the old TV show viewing spaces. So that's TV Heaven he's talking about, where I first watched Doctor Who as a child. And beloved games area, features that used to captivate children, teenagers, and young adults alike. So we see this time and time again with government-type outreach programs, where instead of having kind of all ages things where we're actually trying to build people up, what we do is dumb things down and simplify them to the point of lying, which doesn't teach children anything. You turn science into a clown show, and all you're left with is a sad clown, and the children grow up, and they don't care about the sad clown anymore. But there's a lingering sense that focus has shifted away from what once made it truly special. To regain its former glory, the museum needs to embrace its roots and invest in exhibits that attract and engage younger generations while bringing back the cherished nostalgia older visitors remember fondly. Until then, it remains a shadow of its former self. Well, I'll tell you, nostalgia is an interesting thing, and I don't have true nostalgia for the 70s because I'm not from the 70s, but through the medium of film, television, and photography, I can experience the 70s. I can travel back in time and experience a world that I never got to firsthand. Yeah, I'm not going to read all of this, but the gist of it is, oh, you get to the guy on the front desk. No, I can't give you a single piece of paper that you could then recycle or use as a notepaper. Ha, you have to scan the QR code. Screw you. And she says he's condescending. I think she said he was mansplaining. This is true. I've seen people complain at the front desk, and it is not a welcome thing. They don't want your complaints. There's no point talking to them. The people on the ground are not going to pass any of that on. You might as well shout into the brick walls. This wasn't substantive, this was just a fun video. In the next video, we're going to look at who the people are behind these changes, and hopefully I will equip you to recognize some of these things and appoint some blame, because there's no point saying what's wrong with the world if we're not going to learn anything from it. So, who's behind this? What are they doing? And why are they doing it? Let's try and answer those questions in the next video. I'll see you soon.